Howdy, we are having a second cup of coffee conversation here with Ronnie Wilson, who is Hopkins County Master Gardener. Of course, I'm John Mark Dempsey. And, of course, really now we've been dealing with weeds for some time now. We are here at the cusp of spring, and for all intents and purposes, it is spring as we speak. It's not officially spring, but for all intents and purposes. But the weeds certainly are very much in evidence.
Yes,
now.
It's a shame that the cold weather we've had recently only hurt the beneficial, likable plants and not the weeds.
I always marvel that in January and February, you see these green plants, you know, whether you call them weeds or some form of grass or whatever, but it's always remarkable to me. Maybe we've just had a freeze or
exactly.
It's amazing, but they're still with us. And there are basically, Ronnie, three main categories of weeds.
Yes, there are. There's broadleaf weeds, there's grassy weeds, and there's sedges. And all three of those are very different. The broadleaf weeds, their stems are solid. They can vary in shape, and they're often branched, and they have leaves at different points on the stems, but the stem being solid is the best identifier for broadleaf weeds. The leaves also will be broader.
I think of the broadleaf weeds as the most objectionable of these, and they tend to grow very tall if you let them.
Yes.
And not very deep roots.
Yes, I was actually at the extension office before I came here this morning, and a man brought in a weed this tall, wanted to have it identified. Turned out to be curly dock. It's 3 feet tall.
Curly dock.
Some people call it goat weed.
Oh yeah, no, I do know that term. Yeah. So then the other two categories are?
The grassy weeds, anything generally with grass in the name. Crabgrass, Dallas grass, ryegrass, Johnson grass, and the insanely hard to control Bermuda grass. The third type of weed is a sedge. Monkey grass is a type of sedge. And each one of these categories of weeds requires different chemicals to control.
Right. Now, I will stop you for a second. When you said insanely hard to control Bermuda grass, do we not plant Bermuda grass in our lawns?
And it's a great plant if you want it in a lawn.
Okay.
But the best way to grow Bermuda grass is to plant a vegetable garden.
I think you're right.
Because once it's in, it's really tough to get rid of.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right. And then and monkey grass, people use that as an ornamental grass to edge along a flower bed or something.
Yeah, but if it's in your lawn or in your flower garden, sometimes you don't want it there.
And then I interrupted you, and you were about to get into some weed control product.
Yes, the 2,4-D is good for the broadleaf weeds, and that's probably the widest category. And it'll be on the label of the chemical that you buy. Now, if you have a grassy weed, you want something that has MSMA in it. And for sedges, they're pretty tough to control. You need a product called Sledgehammer or Image, and it's a longer process to get rid of sedges.
Now, broadleaf weeds tend to grow individually, do they not? Now, there may be a number of them around, but it doesn't spread.
Right, they don't spread.
It's one weed here and one weed there, and a lot of times you can pull them up if there's not too many of them.
Right.
And if you get the root.
If you get the root. Yeah.
Right. But otherwise, the type of chemical you recommended for the broadleaf weeds was?
2,4-D.
And then you mentioned herbicides, Roundup and Phenolly, and what would those be best for?
Those products are non-selective. They
Right.
kill everything.
Anything and everything.
Yes, anything that it touches, and it only takes a few drops. Those products work by disrupting the plant's system, and so it can't take nutrients up, and they kill all the plants.
Mm-hmm. And then you mentioned, of course, tried and true, the hand pulling and
Oh,
the
you bet.
use of a hoe.
That's right. Get your exercise. It's slow, but it's very sure. It works every time.
And as you point out, you do get the exercise
You do.
benefit from it, and there's something to be said for that. All right, so we're out of time just about, but let me just take a moment to say that as this airs on KSST Radio, it will be Thursday, March 20th, and you all are having a program at your extension office, at the AgriLife office at 6:30 p.m.
Yes.
on Texas Superstars.
Daisy Rawson, one of our Hopkins County Master Gardeners, is doing a program on Texas Superstars. And these are the plants that are recommended for pretty much all of Texas. They do well here.
Mm-hmm. Are those, I think of them primarily as flowering plants, but would those
Yes.
also be vegetables, or is this
I think just flowering
mainly
plants,
flowering
yes.
plants for ornamental
Right.
type of plants for flower beds and whatever. All right, so that's 6:30 p.m. This evening, then Thursday, March 20th, at 1200 Houston Street.
Yes, sir.
Ag Extension Office. Ronnie, thanks for having a second cup of
I
coffee with us.
enjoyed it.
Good. Ronnie Wilson is Hopkins County Master Gardener. I'm John Mark Dempsey, and this is KSST.